Hello everybody, this is Ogre Boy, and I'm going to be joined by Esley and we're going to be doing our review for Freddy vs. Jason. So before I get into my part, I'm going to let Esley do his part and everything, so take it away, Esley.
Hey Robbie, thank you so much for letting me be a part of this Freddy vs. Jason review. Cool story. My mom never let me watch any film with Freddy in it. Particularly, anything in the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. So around the age of, I'm going to say 6 to 7, she picked up Freddy vs. Jason. She let me and my sister watch the Jason movies, and, I loved those movies, and I was always fascinated by Freddy Krueger because it was something that I was never allowed to watch. So when she's like, we're going to watch this, I'm like, oh, really? I was so excited for it. And, she, of course, watched it with us because there was some scenes in there that we couldn't watch at that age. But I just remember having a good time watching it, and I didn't know that this film was so controversial. I guess this film has been in development hell for like 16 years. They were going to make Freddy vs. Jason in 88 or 87, whenever Part 7 came out in the Friday 13th franchise. So by the time I watched it, I was still a young pup, and, I was fascinated by what was going on in this. So, there's some, continuity errors and just some things that don't make sense in this film, but I really enjoy it. It is one of my favorites in the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. And I remember having a good time watching it. And even last time I watched it, I had a good time. It's still one of my favorites. I mean, it doesn't have the best cast, but it doesn't have one of the worst either. It's watchable, but it's really good. It's really good for nostalgic purposes, I guess, because I remember having such a good time watching it. But I love Robert Englund as Freddy in this, and hell, I even like Ken Kirzinger as Jason, which a lot of people don't like that, but I guess that was like the third or fourth Jason I was introduced to. So, by that time I was like, oh my god, Jason, so... I just thought that movie was really cool when I saw it, and I still think it's a really cool film. It's a shame that they didn't come out with a second one because, well, the way they tease us at the end of this film, I'm just like, damn. And they were going to make Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash. That would have been phenomenal, But anyways, I would give this film a 9 out of 10. I want to thank you very much, Robbie, for letting me be a part of this, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Thank you, Esley. It's nice to have you on the channel and everything again for this review and everything, so I'm going to do my part now. Now this movie is directed by Ronnie Yu, who also directed Bride of Chucky, and written by Mark Swift and Damian Shannon. I've reviewed this movie before on my channel, back when I reviewed and ranked the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, so I'm not going to go too much into all the details that I did in that review. Everything. I'm going to talk more about the Jason part of this movie and everything. This cast is pretty good for the most part. I do think that Ken Kirzinger was not very great as Jason, though. I think that they should have either had Ken Hodder come back or just had somebody else play him that could have done it a lot better. But I thought he was okay. I didn't really like how they make Jason really slow, like he walks really, really slow. I mean, I've seen old people walking on sidewalks that walk faster than him in this movie, and everything. And this is a really good movie for as far as Freddy goes. This movie was better on Freddy's part. It's more of a better Freddy movie than it is a Jason movie. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that this movie was made by New Line Cinema, who obviously owned the rights to Freddy and stuff before getting the rights to Jason, and it shows a lot in this, and everything. There are some things about this movie that I like a lot. It does have some pretty good kills and everything, but I don't think Jason is near as cool or awesome as he is in most of the other films in the franchise. He's really slow. There just isn't, I don't know what it is about this version of Jason. He's just not that great and everything. Now, I think that well, the problem is the people who wrote this movie did not watch any of the previous Friday the 13th movies to prepare for this. I know Ronnie Yu has even said that he had never seen any of them before directing this movie and everything. And I think having people that weren't familiar with Friday the 13th working on this movie was a very big mistake. I mean, because they should have gone back and looked at any of the previous movies, especially parts 3, 4, and 6, and they would have seen that Jason is a lot cooler and a lot better than they made it in this movie. They didn't do very much with him and everything. In fact, I think they kind of pretty much turned him into Freddy's bitch, and I hate that and everything. They need to go back and y'all need to go back and look at those other movies and then come back and tell me, does Jason look like a bitch? Because he's not one and everything. It's really annoying the way that they wrote Jason in this movie and everything. I think that they should have done a lot better on the Jason part of this movie. Like I said, as far as Freddy goes, this is a great movie and everything. It's great, a great Freddy movie. They keep him as a really good villain and everything like that, but they try to make Jason a hero too. That's another thing I hate about this movie, is they try to turn him into this hero character and everything, and I don't like that either, because Jason isn't supposed to be a sympathetic hero character and everything. They had nothing about this movie made a lot of sense to me and everything, and as far as Jason goes on. The best thing about Jason was he did get some good kills and everything. Most of the kills in this movie were done by him, and most of them are pretty cool and everything. I will say that, especially the first one when he kills Trey in the bedroom at the beginning of the movie and everything. You can see like parts of his body, like his insides coming out from under the mattress because the way he stabbing him, and then he folds it in half and everything. I thought that was a pretty cool kill and everything. I also like the kill at the rave when the guy that was making fun of him and stuff is running away from him, and he throws his machete and it goes through him and the guy spits blood out of his mouth and everything. I thought that was a pretty cool kill and everything. But pretty much after the rave scene, the rest of the movie with Jason just isn't that great. They don't do a lot of good stuff with him, I don't think. I think it just could have been a whole lot better and everything. It was pretty disappointing the way they handled him and everything. So I do like this movie quite a bit. It's actually one that I used to watch a lot as a kid, and I remember being super excited to see this movie when it came out. I had to beg one of my neighbors to rent it for me because of me not being old enough to rent anything and everything. And there are a lot of things I do like about this movie, but I really hate the way they butchered Jason in this movie. It was very disappointing and everything. As far as the rest of the characters of this movie go, they have some pretty likable characters. Lori, who's played by Monica Keena, was good. She's the final girl. She did a good job playing her. And I thought that her boyfriend Will, who's played by John Ritter's son, I can't remember what his name is, but he did, Jason Ritter, I believe is his name. I think he did a decent job playing Will and everything. Kelly Rowland was decent as Kia. I think she was a lot better than people give her credit for and everything, but really to me the best performance in this movie is Robert Englund as Freddy. Unfortunately, this is the last movie that he played Freddy, and I really am hoping that maybe eventually they'll get everything straightened out where they'll make one more movie with Robert Englund as Freddy, because I know that he said that he would be up for one more if they wanted to do it, but I don't know if they're going to or not, but as far as this goes, though, as Jason goes, this is one of my least favorite movies in the series because of how they portrayed Jason and everything. And like I said, it's going to be a lot higher on my Nightmare on Elm Street rankings because they do a really good job with Freddy, but they just really didn't do very good with Jason. So even though I'm gonna say I give this movie an 8.5 out of 10, but don't expect it to be very high on my Friday the 13th ranking list because I really don't like the way they did Jason and everything. So that's my review that's my part of the review for Freddy vs. Jason. Thank you, Esley, for joining me and everything, and have a good day, everybody.